This is CBS.
Good evening, I'm Dave Patterson.
And I'm Deborah Pyburn-Brewer. Bruce Babbitt is all but out of the race for president. Will have reaction.
And the Arizona Senate takes action tonight on a request for a delay in the Mecum impeachment trial.
America West Airlines is laying off several hundred employees to reduce a big debt. I'm Mike Makala. These stories and more coming up next on NewsCenter, 10 p.m.
NewsCenter 10 p.m. is simulcast in Spanish on KVVA 860 AM. NewsCenter 10 p.m. with Dave Patterson and Deborah Pyburn-Brewer. Dave Muncie with weather, Clarence Scott with Health Watch, Fred Khalil with sports, and the team from NewsCenter 10.
It appears tonight that a 2-year chase for the White House is nearly over for Bruce Babbitt. The former governor of our state will almost certainly withdraw from the race for president tomorrow.
His 6th place finish in last night's New Hampshire Democratic primary apparently ended any hope for Bruce Babbitt. He was telling his supporters as much on the telephone from his Washington, D.C. headquarters today.
My instinct, as of right now is to pack it in, kind of on the theory that, you got to get off the stage while the audience is still applauding.
Babbitt will make an official announcement tomorrow morning in Washington at 8 a.m. Arizona time.
Now, Babbitt spent much of today talking with his supporters and with his campaign workers. Now, one of his aides from the Phoenix headquarters is joining us live. Babbitt spokesman, beta manager. Did you talk with the governor today, and if you did, what did he tell you?
Well, I did talk to him today, Dave, and what he had to say was that it was his instinct that given the enormous cost of a presidential campaign and the resources, that it was probably time to withdraw.
What are your instincts tonight? Is that a good idea in your opinion?
There were different elements in the campaign, some of whom thought that it would be possible to run a limited Super Tuesday strategy. Others thought that it would be wise to withdraw, and I guess Babbitt heard out both sides and made the determination that it was time to pack it in.
And now that you look at your own career, what's next for beta manager and some of the other people in the office?
Well, many of us feel pretty good about the campaign overall and won't worry too much about our futures, and everyone's tuning up resumes, but feel pretty good about the work we've done over the past 2 years. Nevertheless, we just shall see and seek employment just as normal.
Yeah, and maybe try again in 4 years.
That's a possibility.
Okay, thank you very much for being with us, and it's been nice working with you all through the campaign. We're saying it's over. Perhaps it is. We'll find out tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Also making news on 10 tonight, the Arizona Senate agrees to delay the impeachment trial of Governor Mecum.
Now, that trial was scheduled to start next Monday, but it now will start the following Monday, February 29th. The governor's lawyers wanted a delay until Mecum's criminal trial would be settled. Mecum's attorney, Murray Miller, would not tell us now if he plans to go to court to fight for a further delay. The Senate also decided to stick to its decision to hold some closed-door deliberations. 14
Republican members of the Arizona House came out publicly in support of a run by John Rhodes for governor. The lawmakers say Rhodes is the best person to lead out of Arizona out of what they call a time of political trauma.
A Marine lieutenant colonel is the latest American kidnapped victim in Lebanon. Lieutenant Colonel William Higgins was abducted while driving along a southern coastal highway. Now, he was part of the United Nations peacekeeping force. He is the 9th American currently held hostage in Lebanon. An uncle of the Marine said tonight that he feels his nephew would rather die than do anything to betray his country.
Tough competition is putting America West Airlines in a real financial bind tonight. The airline will lay off about 250 workers on March 1st.
Our Phoenix-based airline is taking a hard look at some other cost-cutting measures as well. Mike Michael is at Sky Harbor Airport now with details on that. Mike?
Well, the airline eventually plans to cut 500 part-time workers. It's an effort to make the airline more profitable and to cut a large debt. These are tough financial times for America West, now the nation's 10th largest airline. 19-year-old Teresa Pisano of Tempe has worked as a part-time reservation agent at America West for 8 months. Late yesterday, she and 200 others got their walking papers.
The word just started going around, so everyone automatically ran to their mailbox and got this little letter in there saying that we were laid off for 90 days.
Were you shocked?
I was totally shocked.
1987 was a year of expansion to big cities back east for America West. It was also a year to lose money, $45.6 million. The airline's stock has also plunged 66% in the past few years. Officials defend the company's rapid expansion.
Had we not grown at the rate we did in '87, we certainly would have faced the possibility of a takeover. at our current size and with the ability we have now to defend our fortress that we've built, I don't think that's really a potential.
Coleman says the airline is becoming financially trimmer, cutting back on its inventory of planes and reducing flights by 10%. He says this year will be different.
So we think that 1988 is really the year where we pay back that investment. Probably not as much as we lost in 87, but we really believe we're going to make money in 1988.
Now, the laid-off workers say they have been told they could be rehired in 90 days, but some I talked to say their supervisors say that isn't likely. Dave Debb, the airline, is describing the situation as a minor leveling off.
All right, thank you, Mike. Coming up now is the power of the mind so strong that it can heal your body of cancer.
And coming up in sports a little bit later, you will see the Phoenix Suns jazz it up in Utah.
Some cold air in the state tonight. What effect will that have on the valley? Back in just a moment. We'll talk about it.
Dave Muncey's weathercasting is certified by the National Weather Association. You're watching NewsCenter 10 p.m. on KTSP-TV.
So let me get this straight. You think my Lily might freeze tonight?
That's very possible.
If I leave it outside?
Not sure that it's going to be a sustained freeze, but it's certainly going to get cold around the valley. And if you have something you absolutely love, you might want to go out and cover it up, especially if it barks. I mean, you might even bite it in the house tonight if it does that, because it is going to be a cold one as we take a look at it. Had a call from Tom Villapando up in Sunrise, and he said 4 inches of new snow on the ground up there. Some of it coming down also, but staying mostly on the mountain. 49 and 69, the high and low around here today. Normals of 43 and 70 degrees. Record was 87 in 1930. Record low 26 in 1910. Right now, 56 degrees. Winds out of the northwest at 5, 34% relative humidity. Looking at a dew point temperature at 28. The rainfall on the plus side by 0.05 of an inch. The barometer is rising at 30.04 inches of mercury. And temperatures today a little on the chilly side as we headed up north. Remember the 50s they were having up there, so we have had quite a drop. But you find Sedona right here at 54 degrees. So temperatures warmed up as you headed south today. They did have some wind chill temperatures early this morning in Flagstaff at 8 degrees below zero. So kind of a nasty day there. You can see there's still a little bit of cloudiness left up there, still a little snow on some of the mountain areas. Roads are clear from any reports that we've been getting, so there's no problem there. As far as the rest of the country is concerned, looking for some snow. In fact, a snow advisory in northeastern portions of New Mexico, and there is a thunderstorm advisory as you head through areas of northeastern Texas. There's some rain turning to sleet up through the Mississippi Valley on into the lower Great Lakes, and a little bit of rain along these Gulf states. Some of it has dissipated as you start heading up the coast, and we have had just a little bit of snow mixing around up in Montana, up in Idaho as well. As you can see, the cold front moving through here. This is the activity with some heavy rain, from 2 to 4 inches of rain in some of these areas today, up to about 2 inches of snow. It's turning to rain and sleet and things like that, kind of nasty in this midsection of the country. Way up in northern Maine, also getting a little bit of snow up there today. As far as temperatures were concerned, they don't look too bad as you look around. There's still a few pockets of the real cold stuff under 35 degrees, but a few temperatures starting to warm up fairly nicely today. The extremes, Presidio, Texas at 81 degrees, 13 below at West Yellowstone, Montana, Jackson, and Yellowstone, Wyoming. As far as temperatures around the valley, and you might want to take a look at some of these rather closely if you live out in Litchfield and Sun City West, Glendale at 32, 33 at Lehigh Valley. Here in the valley, about 43 degrees, 32 at South Mountain, 32 in Chandler, and 33 in Mesa. Our estimated lows for this evening shouldn't be sustained for very long. We look at Flagstaff, 15 degrees below, or rather 15 degrees above zero. We'll be looking at 12 degrees above zero up at the south rim of the Grand Canyon, 32 to 43 around here. These are highs for tomorrow afternoon, so you can see we're going to snap out of that thing, and this is the 5-day forecast. Daytime highs will stay a little chilly. We'll rebound a little bit on those nighttime lows. This is the forecast for this evening. Clear and cold, looking at 32 to 43, and for tomorrow, back with some more sunshine. However, we'll increase those clouds. 65 for a high. That cooler air is with us. Partly cloudy, a little cooler on Friday, breezy from time to time. Highs in the low 60s to the mid 60s, and overnight lows. We'll get back a little bit. We'll still have those cool nights in the outlying areas. Okay?
All right. Coming up next in Health Watch, the controversy surrounding mind over cancer and the special assignment report, Living with Cancer.
And on Wall Street, well, the Dow closed lower, just above the 2,000 mark.
Health Watch News tonight, the power of positive thinking and how it's helping some cancer patients.
Plus, Clarence Scott tells us why Americans are healthier but less satisfied.
It tops our Health Watch headlines. A Boston doctor says Americans are healthier than ever, but they feel worse. Dr. Arthur Barsky says it's because we have higher expectations and are obsessed with diet and exercise. He says 61% of Americans are unhappy with their health compared to 55% in the 70s. Well, now Health Team reporter Susan Taylor joins us with a special assignment report, Living with Cancer. Tonight, Susan tells us how some patients cope by using the power of the mind.
Well, these are just a few of the many books on the power of the mind and positive thinking. A power some say is so strong it can free your body of disease, and an attitude so optimistic it allows you to go on living with cancer.
Radiation therapy and surgery are used to fight cancer. So are a number of experimental drugs called chemotherapy, but none could be recommended for Bill Smith.
The only thing I have is this mental approach, and I've lived twice as long as 50% of the people who have pancreatic cancer. And I think that's precious.
That mental approach includes the philosophy of Dr. Bernie Siegel.
If you help people live, by golly, there's also physical improvement. In other words, it can't separate the mind and body.
He asks cancer patients not to die because statistics say they should, but to hope and to mentally send images telling their bodies how to heal.
It's imaging what your cancer looks like, and it's imaging what the attackers look like, and just fantasize a way to get rid of that cancer.
To come away with the impression that these things will change the course of the cancer is not correct.
Dr. John Bruner cites the lack of scientific evidence and criticizes the theory for giving false hope about getting better.
Let's say that doesn't happen, then this also places an additional guilt burden on the patient as well, too, and that's sort of the last thing in the world that they need.
They don't set out to live forever to cure themselves. They set out to experience love and life. That way you have no failures. You know, you're not saying, well, you've got to get better or you haven't done it right.
In hospitals, in doctors' offices, alongside the latest medical treatments, is a growing acceptance of dealing with the emotions, the mind, and not taking away hope.
If you believe that you can make a difference in the disease, and if you believe that holding on to a teddy bear or a magic amulet, or by praying, will have an influence, it does.
That simple?
Is it that simple? Yeah. I think that belief is a powerful therapeutic tool.
No guarantees for anything in life. So, you've got nothing to lose. Give it a shot. And that's what I do. And I think it's working beautifully.
Now, no one can be certain why some cancer patients do better than expected, but a growing number of medical experts agree. Cancer patients who fight, who don't give up, tend to do better and live longer. Now, tomorrow we'll explore whether emotional and mental well-being can prevent serious illness.
Thank you, Susan. We'll look forward to that. Well, concerns about cancer clusters in the Maryvale area may be calmed somewhat with the circulation of this booklet. It is 19 pages of answers to questions like, what is a cancer cluster? How safe is our drinking water? And has the radiation been checked in West Phoenix? The booklet was written by the State Health Department and a West Valley citizens group after 13 children died of leukemia in the Maryvale area between 1970 and 1981.
Thank you.
Two important events mark this Wednesday. This is Ash Wednesday, the first day of Lent for Catholics. These students at St. Mary's School received the traditional mark of ash on their foreheads. And this is also the Chinese New Year, the Year of the Dragon. Members of the Chinese United Association performed the lion dance. That was at the First Presbyterian Academy to scare away evil spirits and ensure a happy New Year.
And we wish a happy New Year of the Dragon to Fred Khalil, who joins us in a minute.
Along with details of the Suns Jazz basketball game in Utah.
Highlights of that, an update on the Olympics, but first, another Cardinals Corner from NewsCenter 10 Sports.
Number 80, tight end Robert Awalt. Awalt was a consensus all-rookie selection in addition to being named the NFC's Rookie of the Year. Bob finished second to Mark Bavaro of the Giants in receptions by a tight end. Awalt attended San Diego State and his single.
Well, I guess we could talk about the Olympics, but a little windy there, and...
Yeah, lots of wind. As a matter of fact, 2 events at the Olympics were postponed today because of high winds. The ski jumping and women's luge, they'll give it another shot tomorrow. But inside the Olympic Saddle Dome, we'll get to that in a minute, but a tough day on the slopes for skier Hermann Zurbriggen of Switzerland. He fell today in the second slalom run during the combined alpine. He's out of it. And in hockey tonight, Vyacheslav Fedosov of the Soviet Union led his team to a 7-5 victory over the United States. The USA now needs 2 victories in the next 2 games to make the medal round. Let's check the board. You see that Russia beat the United States, West Germany over Austria, and Czechoslovakia just ripped Norway. In the figure skating, the USA has a chance for a medal there. Brian Boitano is in second after the compulsory there. In the speed skating, 5,000 meters, Tomas Gustafsson, a new Olympic record. And in the combined alpine, it was Hubert Strolls of Austria winning after Zurbriggen bowed out. The Suns came close, but no cigar tonight in Salt Lake City. Jazz beat the Suns 108-103, the final score. Karl Malone with a big-time slam, then John Stockton to Darrell Griffith, and the Suns trail by 7. But Larry Nance with a whammo converts the free throw, tied at 78. Walter Davis hits a three-point, 91-91, but Karl Malone hits again, 108-103, the Jazz win. San Antonio in town tomorrow night. Tonight in Dallas, the Mavs, Mark Aguirre, 35 points against the Bullets. Bernard King tries to bring Washington back, but Dallas will win this one. The final score, Dallas 123, Washington 108. And in Milwaukee, the Bucks hosted the Seattle Supersonics. Terry Cummings, fast break hoop for the Bucks, 20 points. ASU product Alton Lister with a big whammo rim bender. Even so, Milwaukee wins this one big time, 115-93 over the Seattle Brutal Sonics. Denver beats Boston, Cleveland over Philly. Portland leads the LA Clippers. Tonight in college hoops, number 4 Oklahoma against Oklahoma State in Stillwater. Dave Seeger, a 3-pointer for the Sooners, but the thing I can't figure out, look at this camera angle. Can't they get a better camera angle at that gym? It looks like it's hanging from the ceiling. Oklahoma won the game 79-75. Get a camera angle, Oklahoma State. North Carolina over Wake, and it was Duke over Virginia. Last-second shot propels Tennessee past Kentucky. Michigan a winner. Syracuse and Iowa State both won. Alabama beat Dave Patterson's Commodores. Sorry about that. Loyola of California. Paul Westhead, the coach there, formerly of the Lakers, leading at the 1/2 mark. In college baseball, ASU beat Chapman College, the final 10-6. A big day for Kevin Higgins of the Devils. Higgins today with 5 hits. 5 hits in one game. Although he doesn't get one here, Higgins had 2 RBIs today, the final 10-6. ASU wins it. Also a big day for American League MVP George Bell of the Toronto Blue Jays. $3.8 million base salary over 2 years. Base salary. Mets pitcher Dwight Gooden is headed to arbitration. Gooden wants $1.65 million. The Mets want to cut his pay to $1.4 million. At Chicago Stadium tonight, the Blackhawks and Red Wings of Detroit. Hawks on the board when Dennis Savard fires one home. Wings come back there. Cleveland and Steve Yzerman score 4-3. Wings on top. Rangers over Calgary. Montreal, Hartford won tonight. Washington and the Kings. Edmonton leads. So does Vancouver. Out of here, baby.
All right.
And still ahead, some jugglers who plan to take a hike.
All the way up South Mountain with good reason. Tomorrow could be Bruce Babbitt's presidential swan song. Assignment editor John Warren now joins us from the News Center with details on what's ahead tomorrow. John?
Deborah, former Arizona governor and presidential hopeful Bruce Babbitt was expected to announce whether he will continue or withdraw from his campaign for the presidency tomorrow. We'll have a report from Dale Shornack. And the Maricopa Association of Governments will do some more talking about ways to clean up the air in the valley. They have until May to talk before a decision must be reached. And internationally known space artist Robert McCall is painting a mural on the wall of the Glendale Library. We'll take a look at his artwork.
Thank you.
Thank you, John. I guess if he's painting early in the morning, he probably needs a jacket.
Probably be a good idea to have a jacket. If your neighbors are in Hawaii, well, I wouldn't go over and cover their plants. You know, they're in Hawaii. But you might want to cover your own just for protection. As you see, 32 to 43, going to be near freezing in some areas. Mostly clear, warming to about 65 tomorrow. Freddie.
Congratulations once again to our high school team of the week. Carl Hayden, R.G. Rhymes, their coach, was telling me that their freshman and JV teams are both unbeaten. He's got a freshman kid 6'5", and another kid with size 19 feet at age 14.
They got to win.
They got to, Big things to come.
Yeah. If you're a little up in the air about what you're going to do this weekend, like these guys are, then what about taking a hike up South Mountain Saturday morning like these guys will? The event is the annual fundraiser for the American Cancer Society called Climb the Mountain. Now, these are the aerial mirage jugglers, and they will juggle 10 of them the entire 5 miles. You can join them and 5,000 other people about 8:30 Saturday morning at the south end of Central Avenue, and they say if they drop one, they'll go back down and start over again, but I don't really believe they'll do that. Thanks for having us in.
Have a real good night. We'll see you again tomorrow.